My name is Micah Anderson. I am the CEO of LEEF Brands. Today I'm going to be touring you guys through our Northern California facility, which is home of LEEF Labs, our extraction business. It's really the core competency of our business and kind of the meat and potatoes of what we do. Standing in Building 1, 2 license types here on a 14-acre campus. Building 1 is about 6,000 square feet. It's a Type 11 distribution license, and for those of you who are not familiar with cannabis laws in California, the Type 11 is the distribution license that allows for us to transport not only our own products, but products for other companies throughout the state of California. So this is the entryway. Upstairs we've got office, admin, a few jerseys on the wall from some of our athlete shareholders. This brand that's here on the wall, showcase, this is our CBD line. LEEF Holdings started with this brand in 2018. It's internationally sold. We focus on recovery and spa products. And yeah, just have all the products here just to highlight the brand, to show people what we do. I'll take you through Building 2. We have 2 main buildings here. For the business that we have here. Our extraction building is at number 2 over here. It's a home of our Type 7, Type 6 licenses. We have 3 primary extraction lines that run through that building. This is Building 1. This really serves for office, admin, corporate headquarters. So we have finance, marketing, the various functions of the business upstairs. Downstairs we do co-packing, which is essentially filling vape pens, different types of product goods for a lot of our clients. We helped the city write the ordinance in 2017, shortly after Prop 64 was passed. And at the time, the city wasn't allowing for cannabis, even though we are in Mendocino, which is like considered to be the birthplace of cannabis in the United States. So you got Mendocino County, Humboldt County, which is north of us, and Trinity County, which makes up the Tri-County area, which is better known as the Emerald Triangle. So we're in Willits. There wasn't an ordinance. Myself and our management team helped them draft an ordinance to allow for cannabis, and we worked through the process to get this property entitled. So it's 14 acres. We're able to essentially land any type of license that we want. Our focus in the beginning of the company was to really focus on concentrates. I think later in the interview we'll kind of dive into that as to like why we picked that versus some of the other products that are sold in the marketplace. So I'll give you guys a tour through Building 2. You can see how we do everything. So just to give you guys like a bit of a glance at some of the engineering that went into designing this facility. So the entire building is a closed loop system when it comes to solventless. So all of the solvents that run through the cannabis material sit on the outside of the building and are then ran inside. They go through the extraction process, hit solvent recovery, and then get shot back outside the building. And that allows for us to do a handful of different things, but one of them is we can store a lot of solvents here on site, whereas like other extraction companies that are limited to just the extraction vessel itself being closed looped, they have to have a much smaller amount. And so from a capacity standpoint, you're very limited in what you can do on a daily output process. So Gary Vandenberg, who's one of my founding partners here, helped design this facility early on. We started the process in 2017, finished it in 2018. It's been an ongoing process since inception. We're always adding to it, coming up with new processes, tinkering with new innovation or pieces of equipment that could help with putting out a better product or increasing our output. So I'll walk you guys through all of that, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on here. We've got duplicative processes for all the different extraction lines. So two condensers, 2 chillers, two of everything basically, because if one goes down, it's very expensive if we're not able to keep production running. So we run 24/7, 365 days a week. It's very rare that we don't have something going on here. We run through hundreds of thousands of pounds of material on an annual basis through the 3 different extraction lines. We do frozen material for our Type 7 line, frozen material for our solventless line, and then we use a lot of dry biomass material for our distillate line. All right, come on in. So this is LEEF Labs, our extraction business. And I'm going to kind of walk you through the maze of different things that's going on in here and introduce you guys to some of the staff. Why don't we start, if you want to, this would be some good B-roll. Yeah. Sam, what you working on?
Orange elixir.
Nice.
Some of the lifted, fresh frozen from this harvest.
Okay. Yeah, so essentially what Adam's saying is this is a farming partner that we have. We source quite a bit of our material from them. They're like one of our favorite cultivators in the state. Just everything they do is great, and the team's amazing. Yeah. And then this went through the hydrocarbon line, so through a butane solvent system to get a certain type of fraction that is, you know, a product that clients are looking for. This is hydrocarbon. Yeah.
It's all fresh frozen biomass, which is frozen right at harvest, and it's just to preserve the terpene profiles and really the essence of the plant. And then we can really, you know, pull it out with the hydrocarbon. So, and then this is some of the more top tier material we have. All the clients love it, and it's like as soon as you make it, it's literally out the door. I mean, this was made like a week ago, and it's a filled out.
Yeah.
Carbon like literally this.
Yeah, so. I was on the sales call earlier today, and this guy's sold everything before it was made, so that's a good thing to have. Yeah.
Yeah, great. So, you know,
dang, smells good. All right, let's start in the back, and then we'll make our way through. Let me introduce you to this guy real quick. What's up? Yeah. How are you? Mario, this is Calvin.
Hi. How you doing?
Sure. Calvin is basically oversees all of hydrocarbon for the most part, but really is like the production man when it comes to pushing product through this building. So him and Gary run this facility. The way this whole system works, our planning here is that every day we have a set of guys that are in each individual extraction line prepping material for the following day. We have production goals that are set by sales forecasting, and then what happens is like depending on which extraction line it's going into, the guys will prep all that material the day before. They'll make 50 sacks if that's how many sacks are needed. In the ethanol line, that we freeze it, we get it to a certain grind so that the material produces a certain type of product. They'll freeze it, get it to the temperature that we want, and then and then from there we come out of the freezers and we come into the actual extraction facility. And yeah, so these are some of our freezers here. You know, there's 4 here. We've got another 10 those are generators. So when we first took over the facility, we didn't have PG&E, and so we had to bring in power through generators, and we ran for the first like year and a half off of generators. And there's enough power there to power the whole damn city of Willits now at this point, but what we're gonna do is move 2 of those down to our new, the farm down in Santa Barbara as backups, you know, so in the event that we need power there as well, so repurposing them. All right. So material will come in, the guys will kind of categorize it, run it through the metric system, figure out which extraction line it's going to go into, and at this point, anything that was detected for pesticides has already been addressed outside. So we've gone through multiple stages of testing in the other buildings before it ever enters into this building, so nothing comes in here that has any sort of pesticide use on it to ensure that everything's clean at all times. So I'm going to take you guys into the ethanol line first. All right. So this is our ethanol line. So cup 30, centrifuge system. We bring in ethanol from outside. It comes through this chiller, drops it down to -40. And then it's essentially, think of like a washing machine. So a 30-pound sack fits perfectly inside of here, and it'll spin in here for 20, 30 minutes. Sometimes we'll double spin it, sometimes we won't. Now you've got ethanol and your cannabinoids are separated from the plant material and go into this building. And then we have nitrogen charged lines, which will shoot it through process piping into the next room. everything's ran off of these, it's a system that we have where it goes into winterization, which is in the next room. The guys can kind of control length of residency, how long do they want it to sit in certain tanks based on whatever type of product. Certain clients want a very specific type of oil at a certain potency, and others are, like an edible company isn't necessarily as particular about it, and it can be a little bit of a lower tiered potency. So depending on the material, the client's needs, the guys understand like how and what to do with it. And then from this room, I'm going to take you guys into winterization. All right, so from the ethanol line, comes through the wall. These are our winterization tanks. Sits in here for a period of time. They're jacketed, so it brings the temp down again, keeps it super cold. And what happens is you have a separation process that takes place here. We'll start to separate our fats, lipids, waxes from the oil material. And essentially good stuff goes one way, bad stuff goes the other way. Good stuff goes through a 4-stage carbon filtration system, and then it hits a heat exchanger and puts it into this system over here, which is something that we worked with a company from Europe on designing, and it helps us clean up pesticides, or it cleans up, really what we use it for is color remediation. So if there's an oil that we want to polish, so to speak, and like have it be a little bit of a lighter color, which is more desired by the market, we'll run it through this system. Spins in there for a certain amount of time. The guys can look through a viewing device to figure out when they should be moving that oil into the next room. And then we go into solvent recovery, which is over here. You're good. Excuse me, guys. Excuse me. So when we designed this building, it was almost designed around this piece of equipment. So at the time, this thing was like massive for the industry. Overkill almost, but we thought that we would be able to do hemp and cannabis at the same time under the roof. So we built this bigger kind of elaborate system. Fast forward to where we are today, and now we need every bit of it. So what was once big, now we've grown into. So this is solvent recovery. You got 800 gallons of ethanol that will sit in here with the cannabinoid oil, and what happens is it's got like a blade that strings it, it heats it up, and ethanol evaporates off and separates from the oil material. Ethanol will go back outside the building, kind of back to what I was saying, it's like all the solvent that stays outside the building. We see a little bit of loss on ethanol in each run, but not much, it's pretty efficient. And then from there you'll have a crude oil at this point, which will go into distillation. And that is in this room right here. So crude goes through the wall, hits our decarb skid. Decarb skid is here. Essentially what you're doing is you're converting the acid form of like a THCA into Delta-9, which is what the marketplace wants. They want a high D9 product. So that happens here. Once it goes through decarb, goes into one of our still skids, and this is where we do distillation right here. So depending on what type of oil we're looking for, you'll have your super polished refined oil coming out of the very end. Sometimes we'll pull stuff off at this fraction. And what you'll end up with, just to kind of show you what the end product looks like, is something that looks like this. Yeah, so this is a jar of distillate. Every jar that goes out is branded this way, so LEEF Labs being the extraction company, Terrad Weight. And this makes up about 40% of our business. Fluctuates 35 to 45%. This is like the base ingredient for about 40% of what is sold and stored. Maybe it'd be close to 40%. So vape pens, edibles, beverages, it goes into really all kinds of different things, even topicals, tinctures. Distillate is like, it's a huge part of the marketplace, and it's a huge part of our business. Per kilos, which is 1,000 grams. This one is, what's the weight here? So this is 1,500 grams. It's about $1,500. I'm gonna show you one other thing that I didn't show you earlier. So this is another C1D1 room. Allows for us to use specific types of solvents in it. These are pentane miners. So basically we do diamond mining in here, and we grow THCA crystals through pressure and temperature, and and it's a certain type of product which is pretty popular on the market. So that all takes place here. These are some of our smaller miners. We have another set of them in our other room. Moving on.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see here. So now I'm going to take you guys through solvent. So we've gone through ethanol. We're going to go through solventless extraction. This is where we make rosin, and then we'll get into the hydrocarbon lines. So this is our access rosin machine. You know, for those of you who aren't familiar with how rosin is made, so essentially we bring in frozen material, high-grade frozen material with a specific type of trichome head on it. We'll load the hopper up with material, load it with ice, get it to a certain temperature, and then it spins in there. And what happens is you're separating frozen trichome heads away from the plant material. That will then come through the machine, go into this vessel here, which captures the heads, and we'll use these different types of screens here, different meshes, to take different, think of it as like a grading system on the different types of heads that we're using. Put those into trays, those go into, let me show you guys what it ends up looking like. This is the end product of what we're looking for. And then this goes through the next process, which is done in here. This is used to make rosin, and different types of rosin too. So we do vape-ready rosin, cold cure, fresh press, you know, different fractions and different grades for what people are looking for. Some of it's edible grade, some of it's super high-tiered, bougie stuff, which is just made for dab rigs. So what the guys will do is they'll take that SIP material and then they load it into these special types of bags, and it comes in here and it's these two heated plates. And so pressure and heat will then basically ooze the trichome heads that are in that bag, and you'll get like a decarboxylated resin product that oozes off the side of it, and it's captured down here below. Rosin, it's like a growing segment of the market. It's a higher priced product. It's usually like caters more towards refined connoisseur types, you know, people that really appreciate different flavor profiles and the fact that no solvent was ever used on the product. It's a big part of our business. It's something that's growing as we bring on the farm in Santa Barbara, and we're like targeting genetics that are specific to rosin. It's definitely something that I think we have a lot of room to grow out of this facility here, or out of this extraction line. Moving on. Thanks, guys. Yeah, so these are freeze dryers. So essentially what we do with these is once it goes through the extraction process and you have this like wet separated rosin heads on the tray, it'll go in here for a period of time and it dries it out, so that way we can turn it into sift. So it goes from extraction to the freeze dryers, through the rosin press, and into whatever final form product it's going into from there. All right, now we're going to get into hydrocarbon. So we have two hydrocarbon setups. Essentially, this is a Type 7 license in California, so it allows for us to use volatile solvents. It's the hardest license to get in California just because of the dangers that can come with using volatile solvents. So butane, propane, hexane, all stored outside the building, come in. The guys will take frozen or dry material, and they'll load these columns here with tubes of material and flush them with a solvent that runs through it. Once that happens, it goes into a collection vessel, and then they take a crude extract of sorts, and they basically will take that, we'll take it into post-processing, which happens in the next area over here. Sits in vacuum ovens, pulls out all the solvents that are used in the product. So anytime anything's going out to final consumption or to the marketplace, all like 0 parts per million, all of the solvent has been taken out of that material. And these are the ovens I was talking about. So the guys will collect the different products that they're making out of here, so like more of a crude form of it, and it'll sit in here for a period of time under vacuum, a little bit of heat, and then it off gases essentially and pulls all that stuff out. So we kind of saw this earlier. This is what it looks like all jarred up. And yeah, so different forms of material, different strains. Our clients are looking for like a portfolio, a menu of unique genetics, stuff that can separate their brand from the next brand. Think of beer companies, right? Like there's a reason why Budweiser has their formula, their blend that they use, and if you drink a Budweiser, you know it's a Budweiser. Bad example because, but in the beer world, same thing. You've got the different types of hops. People run it through post-processing with different formulations for a reason. They want diversification on their products, and the same thing goes in the cannabis industry. Companies want stuff that is unique to their brands, and that's something that we help them with here at LEEF, whether that's us hunting for genetics or running it through certain SOPs through the extraction line, just so that they feel like, okay, great, my brand, I don't have to do all of this, the extraction side of it. I can just focus on being a brand and sell a branded product. And you know, LEEF has our back and our support on making sure that we're diversified within the products that they're selling. And I'll show you guys just the different types of fractions. So that's a couple different products there. I think the thing that's interesting about hydrocarbon extraction is how many different products you can make out of it versus ethanol does distillate, crude. So yeah, I'll let you take it from here.
So essentially with hydrocarbon, you can create like multiple different types of products through the same material. So if we essentially we have orange elixir right here, I could make like a sugar, like a batter, which we have like really, really nice batter. And we can also make like a liquid live resin for vape cartridges that I will show you here too. And we also have like a wetter, saucy, high terpene profile product as well. So it's like, there's like just different fractions that you can make out of it versus distillate lines or other products like that as well. So this is these are all sugars right here, and this is just a high THC profile, lower terpene, but it still smells great, and it's great for dabbing. So, and look at that. This is a batter. This comes from the same type of material, 2 different consistencies. So depending on what the customer actually would like, you can see there's a clear as day difference between the two. And you can see the juices in there. That's basically all flavor. Yeah, at LEEF I do a little bit of everything, but as of right now I'm ethanol production line manager. And I also have a lot of experience in the hydrocarbon space as well. Been doing it for about 13 years now. So I do a lot of different things here as well. So let's show a separation too. You want to hand me the isolate so we can kind of do a side by side? Yeah. So here is an idea of a separation of THCA, where we actually separate all of the flavoring, which would be the terpenes, out of the product. So that it still smells good, but it's a very high THCA profile, very strong. And what we get separated from this is mother liquor. So what I can show you right here is this is basically all flavoring right here. This is a great representation of a separated mother liquor that's got very low THC in there, very high terpene profile. You can see how viscous it is, and just great color all around. So at one point, these two were together. We separate these two, yeah. So it's just 2 different fractions, and customers really like to, especially when they're making vape cartridges, they like to combine the two. So if they want a product that's higher in terpene, lower in THC, we can make that happen. If they wanted higher THC, lower terpenes, that's also just as easy. I can show right here as well. This is THCA. It started as an isolate, just like that as before. This also has very low terpene profile, but it's rediluted in a solvent, and then as same exact way you would make crystals in those little crystal kits, or when you see crystals in a cave, you create a supersaturation with the THC and the solvent to create nice formation of crystals right here. And then customers also love to take these, put them in a jar, and mix that terpene in there, so you have these nice little crystals floating in the flavoring, the terpenes. All right, and then let's. All right, so this is a great representation of some sauce. This is basically how you would have it in its natural form, natural ratio when you extract the product, and you kind of like let it sugar out, and you're going to have a authentic ratio of terpene to THCA right there. So you can see the juices, and then the THCA that kind of holds together a little bit.
Yeah, so I'll kind of, the property's 14 acres. The whole thing's entitled for cannabis. This back field back here, we've got a few extra frozen containers back there, but as we get into harvest on our own product and we need many, many more freezers, we have a plan already in place where we'll line that whole back field out with freezers, and we'll be able to store hundreds of thousands of pounds of frozen here. These buildings right here, we repurposed them. It was once an old mini storage facility. I actually ran a soil business out of here a long time ago, early days of my cannabis career. And then we repurposed these, so we'll store about 50,000 pounds of dry material in each one of these bays. All the grinding takes place over there, and that's what goes into our extraction line. 50,000 pounds equates to about a little over a month's worth of production for ourselves. So we go through hundreds of thousands of pounds of material here, both frozen and dry, on an annual basis. So packaging happens down here, downstairs building one, and some of it happens up here. And but we can go through here. Yeah, so most of our business is really supplying bulk concentrates. We would consider ourselves like a bulk concentrate supply chain company for a lot of the larger brands and retailers in the state. And one of the areas where I feel like we have an opportunity to grow in California is taking on more of the co-packing services. So if we can go to, top 10 retailers in the group, guys that have like 10, 15, 20 doors, and white label a specific brand that they want for their shelf space, it's pretty easy for us to do that. We can formulate the products, give them diversification through strain selection that we source for them, and then we'll bring it in here and we'll basically make all those products and send finished form products to them. And it just creates efficiencies for us and for them as well, leading to more sales for them, which is, hey, what's up, guys? How are you? Hey, how are you? Joey, what's good?
Thank you.
How are you? Hey. So these guys, I'll kind of show you, are working on packaging other branded product. I'm just going to show him some of this stuff. Yeah. So Turn's like number 2, I think, now in the state, or number 3 vape company, client of ours, and we do all of their packaging here. So live resin packaging, distillate. They're kind of known for their disposable distillate vape pen, and yeah, they're crushing it. Definitely one of the biggest companies in the state. And the team down here co-packs all their stuff. Bit of automation for different purposes. It's not really running at the moment, but jarring, labeling. We have automation kind of for everything. Pre-roll manufacturing, gummy manufacturing. This is our second skid over here for distillation. Tincture manufacturing. So a bit of everything between all the different, rooms that we have downstairs. And this all falls underneath the distribution lesson. Ready? Yeah. Thanks, guys. See ya. Dispatch, the guys are checked off at the end of the day, but essentially two guys that orchestrate the movement of material throughout the state of California. It's a huge state, it's a two-person job. I think we have like 12 different vans, everything from a semi-truck to little vans that run around the state getting product all over the place. And that brings us back into the lobby. Show you guys a few of the jerseys if you want to see those. So Rudy, it's a big shareholder of ours. All of these guys are super into like the cannabis wellness side of what we do, so recovery products. Jimmy Butler's on Miami Heat. Ian, or Jan rather, retired. He just retired a couple of years ago. And then Jeremy Grant. And all these guys have been here except for Rudy. Rudy has not shown up yet. So Rudy, if you see this, you're due to come. And then up here we've got office admin area, so kind of workspace. Guys can make lunch. We do parties here. End of day, so a lot of people have checked off. Austin, I'm proud of you. You're still here, hunting material. Yep. Austin does sourcing for us, procurement, so he basically communicates with about how many farms? 200, 300? One of the things, the secret to the success of LEEF being an extraction company is the power of our procurement division. So we have to be successful procuring the amount of pounds. As I told you guys earlier in the tour, we'll go through hundreds of thousands of pounds a month. Or a year rather, and then if we don't have that, we miss production planning and it creates problems. So Austin runs inside procurement for us. Why don't you tell him who you are, what you do, and kind of walk him through the process of how we source material.
Yeah, so my name's Austin, and I head a lot of the procurement on a day-to-day basis, so I'm constantly in touch with farms. There's a lot of the farm relation type stuff going on where I'm checking in with them. I probably call, I'd say on average, 100 farms per day. So definitely it's a large list to go through. I'm calling pretty much every phone number that exists per farm license throughout the state of California. And yeah, typically we want to find stuff that's clean, pesticide free, and that tests with a nice potency. So those are typically the kind of farms we go after. We have a lot of trusted clients that come back to us time and time again. We pride ourselves on taking care of the farms. We like to go out to their location. We'll take a sample, from the stuff that they have. We'll run it through our testing. We handle all those costs. We handle all the transportation costs and just make it as easy as we can on the farm, basically, to get their material. And all they got to do is just basically receive cash. So it's a good relationship, and a lot of the farms are, they know me on a first name basis because I'm constantly checking in with them. Usually when I call, they know that money is sitting at the other end of the line for them. So
yeah, so let's see here, conference room. I'll introduce you guys to Josh. Josh does our marketing for us. Josh, why don't you tell the good people what you do for LEEF and just walk them through what you do on a day-to-day.
Okay, cool. My name is Josh Bowers. I'm the content manager. Depends on the day. Some days I go over to the lab and just document what they're doing, what's happening, so that I can send that out to different people who are asking those questions. I manage the social media for a couple of different brands and make sure that the content going out is kind of keeping the brand on brand. And then I support Emily with whatever kind of stuff that she's got going on, be it marketing campaigns or just communications in general with different brands and clients that LEEF works with.
Yeah, I feel like just to add to that, so if you look here, you can see one of the shots that Josh took. So that's rosin, and one of the things that we do on a weekly basis is send out a live menu to the entire state of California. So every license holder will receive a menu basically that shows all the different concentrates that we have in inventory or what's coming in the pipeline. And then Josh does all the marketing or the content creation for that. So they can see a picture of it, the lab results of that product, the potency, pesticides, all the things that would make them determining factors on whether or not they'd want to purchase it or not. And then from there, Heather, who sits over here, who is checked out already for the day, she'll then load up, depending on what clients are interested in, an array of sample sizes that get shipped throughout the state. They receive those samples, make a determination of what they want, and then orders are placed to the sales team. So, and you have a big important role in that, so wanted to make sure that was mentioned. All right. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.